Hello, everyone. I am so excited about everyone who's tuning in. My name is Dr. Karen, and I am the Executive Director and founder of Empowering People with Invisible Chronic Illness Foundation, also known as the Epic Foundation. I'm here with my brother. Oh, my goodness.
Hey,
Darryl Brown is one of our executive board directors on our executive board. And look, I'm so happy to see you again and to
me
be
too.
be with you again during the States with Darryl. It's been a while.
Yes, it has. It's been too long.
It's been way too long. It's been way too long. So we're gonna, as we usually do, get into a conversation, talk about, we typically on these dates with Darryl, we would talk about relevant things that impact the chronic illness community. And honestly, even if you're not a part of the chronic illness community, if you're a loved one, a caregiver, or maybe not impacted by it at all, some of these things that we talk about, are definitely relatable. So, you ready to get into it?
I'm ready.
Okay. Sounds good. So, today we've decided to talk about faith. Now, we were just talking about this, and I want for us to define what faith is. And I think what we were talking about was how it's believing in the unseen. Um, even if you don't have evidence, quote unquote, of the physical manifestation of something, you still believe it,
Yes,
right?
exactly what that is.
Yeah, yeah. And as chronic illness warriors, that is something that I think both of us have talked about as being a key factor in us getting through the things that we've been through.
Wouldn't be able to get through it without it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be able to, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. Because you hear so many negative things
Hmm.
because of the fact you have an illness. And you want to hear the facts.
Yeah.
But the one thing that will happen with faith is sometimes, well, not sometimes, faith will contradict what facts say.
Right.
Absolutely, they will. We're both products of that.
Yeah.
And I
Absolutely.
was, and I know you were. I was given
Hmm.
a date a long, long time ago not to be here anymore.
Right. Isn't that
Yeah,
something? Yeah.
it's, I wouldn't live past 7 years old, and if I did, I wouldn't be self-sufficient. And I
Hmm.
just celebrated 59 years on February 10th. So
Wow. Yes.
yeah, so without faith,
Yeah.
not have happened.
Yeah.
Because without faith, you're ready to throw in the towel at the first sign of anything going wrong.
Absolutely.
Always.
Absolutely.
But faith will make you stick and stay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And isn't that something? If we tell our stories, absolutely, we've both been told that, it's a miracle that we're here, right?
Yeah,
For all intents and purposes, neither of us should even be here.
right.
We're here. We're
Yes,
here.
ma'am.
Yes.
But that's why you have to be able to, um, again, as we were speaking before we went on,
Yeah.
you have to be able to block out the negativity,
Mm-hmm.
even though it will creep in. Because as I was saying here earlier, lately I've been on a little bit of a roller coaster ride,
Mm-hmm.
and part of that has become part of the conversation because trying to block those negative things out. You're wondering. I used to always wonder as I was growing up. They would always say all these bad things are going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
and this is going to be happening, and this is going to happen. And I would sometimes wonder, okay, is this whenever I might have some symptoms of something, I would always at first I would always be like, okay, is this it? Is this it?
Mm-hmm.
Is this going to be the end? And so what I had to learn how to do is learn how to be more positive.
Mm-hmm.
And so in order to be able to, because again, without faith, um, you wouldn't be, I would, I try not to be too, what they say, too churchy,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's hard not to,
Mm-hmm.
because again, the Bible said that faith comes, I'm sorry, but faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real definition of what faith is.
Mm-hmm.
And so having a chronic illness, you hear facts all the time.
That's right.
But this is what you have. This is what's going to happen. And in some cases, it's like there's really no point in doing anything. I had a doctor once tell me, I had my knee, it was inflamed. And so I went in and he ended up draining my knee. And I can remember very clearly the nurse asking, do you want to test the fluid? He said, no. This is what happens when you have spina bifida, and it's nothing we can do about it. Well, come to find out, I had a very good friend of mine who's a doctor who did some investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, come to find out, the fluid was gone.
Really?
Had nothing to do with this, with spina bifida. Nothing.
Wow. Wow.
And so if you go based on, and like I said, some of this stuff is factual.
Mm-hmm.
You can look up your illness as a chronic illness person, and it'll have a ton of facts as to what's going to go wrong. But that's when your faith has to kick in and contradict what this stuff is saying. You got to be able to say, no, that's not going to happen to me. But if it does, you got to be able to say, still, I can get through this with the faith that I have. Because the Bible says that everybody has been given a measure of faith. That's the one thing about faith. You got to be able to cultivate the faith. The only way a plant grows is if it rains and the sun hits it. But you got to nurture the plant.
Right.
There's got to be some sunny days, and there's definitely got to be some rainy days.
Right.
And so you got to be able to get through your rainy days. I know for both of it, it rains a lot. It rains a lot. I'm tired of going through so many umbrellas.
Right.
But I'm going to keep on purchasing my umbrellas.
That's right.
Yep. You have to.
That's right.
I could talk all day about this stuff, but go ahead.
Hey, I mean, that's what we need to do, because you know what? There's so many people out there who are thinking these things, and yet they feel alone in their thoughts. They feel like nobody's out there who can relate or is listening. And that's why we do this, right? Because we want the people to know, like, we've been through it, but we're also letting you know that we understand.
Yes. Yes. And even if, because it's interesting, I was just having this conversation yesterday with somebody who, for a lot of years, I felt like I had nobody to talk to because they don't have to live with this. So they don't understand. And so I kept a lot of things to myself.
Yeah.
And so, I didn't realize how that affected me. But you gotta sometimes be able to find somebody, even if they don't understand.
Yeah.
But you gotta be able to talk to somebody. And just who, and I'm not saying somebody's gonna feel sorry for you, because you don't need that. But one of the things I realized, that they say, well, unless you've been there, you don't know. And that's not necessarily altogether true. Because what I found out was, as I maneuvered through how to deal with spina bifida and all this other stuff that seems to be popping up, I go back to the way I was raised. I go back to the thoughts that my mother and my father instilled in me. Now, neither one of them was born with a chronic illness. So it doesn't necessarily mean that because we're different, I won't understand.
Mm-hmm.
But you might be able to talk to somebody who might be able to give you some ideas as to how to deal with stuff. And then sometimes just have somebody just to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, if you really think about it, at the end of the day, adversity is adversity.
Mm-hmm.
It might be different. I may not have the same thing that you have, but we still have adversity. It just has
Right.
different titles.
Right.
What might be hard for you may not be hard for me, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So that's what I think in terms of having chronic illnesses based on the whole faith concept. It's good to talk it out,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes by talking it out, it helps build your faith.
That's right.
Actually, it does, because you could be talking to somebody and they could have gone through something that was completely different. But again, it may have been hard for them, but they may have gone through it and just shared some strategies
Yeah.
that they may have had that you might be able to use.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because sometimes I think we see situations and we get so caught up with our own stuff
Yeah.
that we think we're the only one going through something.
Yeah.
And so if I see you and you're going through, in my mind, what is less than what I'm going through, well, what could you tell me? But by looking at you, unless you told somebody,
Yeah.
you would never know.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes we have hidden chronic illnesses.
That's right.
I mean, as a therapist, I learned this a long time ago. Handicap, you don't necessarily have to be physically handicapped.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that you have that keeps you from getting to a destination can be a handicap.
Right.
And so it's all, like I said, my wife, she listens,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes she'll tell me. She'll tell me, I don't really know what to do or know what to say.
Yeah.
But just knowing you got somebody there.
That's right. That's right. That's so
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, and it helps you as you move on. You'll be able to go through a situation, and then when you have to go through something else, you'll be able to pull on what you just went through.
Right.
Yeah, to get you where you need to go.
That's right.
But at the end of the day, you cannot abandon your faith.
Mm-hmm.
Because the second you abandon your faith, you're going to want to quit.
Right.
I was about to say, I don't know about you, but I do know about you. As I said before, there's no quitting us.
No.
Mm-mm. I always tease. I always say at my funeral, somebody's going to pass by my casket, and they can be like, did I see him move? Yep, so I'm still trying to fight.
Yep.
Even when I'm gone, I'm still going to be trying to fight.
Yeah. I heard that.
I'll never quit. You want to throw in the towel.
That's right.
You want to, but I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Life will make you want to throw in the towel, and faith will throw it right back at you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, if you ask the question like how did we make it? Ask the question to the folks out there, how did you make it? It's nothing but by faith, because how else could you believe that you would get to the next day?
There are many days where I've questioned whether I even wanted to make it to the next day.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because things had gotten that bad.
Real talk.
Yeah. It's like you wake up and you're actually mad because you woke up.
Yep.
I'm just being honest. That was my young days. But what happened was my perspective changed.
Mm-hmm.
And so my thought is, when I wake up tomorrow morning, whatever is there to greet me, I got through it yesterday, and guess what I'm
Yeah.
gonna do today?
I'll get through it today.
I sure am. As I always say, don't allow life to get you. You get it.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't let it. I
Mm-hmm.
can't let it.
Yeah,
My faith won't let it.
absolutely.
Yeah, my faith won't.
Absolutely.
And for me, whenever I speak of faith, it's my faith in God.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I've heard so many negative things over the years.
Yeah.
This knee replacement I'm going through, as we spoke earlier,
Mm-hmm.
I I I almost got talked out of it because doctors who went to school, who know what they're talking about four of them told me, bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
I had therapists, bad idea. Physical therapy, bad idea. And about not walking. And so my mobility is very, very important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember having a conversation about not walking. And so every day, my goal was to walk.
Mm-hmm.
What was it based on? Absolutely nothing.
Right.
It wasn't. Because if I went by what everybody told me, I wouldn't be walking. So why try?
Yep. Yep.
But my faith says, try. I started walking 3 weeks ago.
Mm. Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I might not be able to walk as far as I want yet,
Right.
but it's coming.
Yet. Right.
Yes, yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. And what is the faith? The evidence of? The evidence of things not seen.
Can't see it. Can't see it.
You can't
I
see it.
can't see it. Yeah. I mean, I know you've been there. I can't see it. You know, and so you got to try anyway.
Mm-hmm.
What was the quote? You said it was your favorite quote. I looked up.
Yeah, so Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, faith is seeing the first step, right? Faith is taking the first step, even if you can't see the whole staircase.
That's right. And again, I don't want to speak for you, but I I don't know what tomorrow's gonna be like.
Mm-hmm.
I have no clue.
That's right.
Days are different. But whatever is coming, I am equipped to handle whatever it is. And like I said, the only way you can nurture or bring out the faith that's in you, you're going to have a difficult day.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't have difficult days, how do you know you'll be able to do it?
Right.
If every day was wonderful, no issues,
Yep.
you wouldn't know.
That's
It wasn't until things got really bad for me physically that I started to understand who I really was and what I was able to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting up. I don't have a fake backdrop. This is my house.
Mm-hmm.
I was told you'll never buy a house.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was told relationships, don't worry about relationship. You're never going to have a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Been married 20 years.
Wow.
So it's about your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Once your perspective changes, your life changes.
That's right.
Yes. Step on out there. Even when you can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Step on in there. Step on out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I want to, in the few minutes that we have, oh my goodness, that time goes by fast when you're having fun.
It does. This is my favorite subject, but go ahead.
I love it. I love it. So I want to make a distinction between, being able to see something in the physical, like with using your senses, the manifestation, like we're talking about, and vision. And having part of faith is having vision, right? So like envisioning something, right? And that's in the word too, just all throughout the words, believing, Right. You might ask for something, but you have to believe that it is so. You have to believe that it can come into manifestation, even if you don't see it yet. Even if
Yes.
you don't see it yet. And I want to tell just a quick story about that. Many, many years ago, my husband Craig, and we know each other's spouses too.
Yes.
It's such a beautiful thing. But my husband Craig, I work on vision boards, like just and that just was me like taking a poster board and putting a bunch of phrases on it, and just reminding myself of what is possible. And my husband Craig put that poster board right on the wall right next to my bed. Now this was during a time where, I mean, I'm telling you, the physical therapist was coming to my home and we were working on moving my toes up and down. I could
Yes.
not get out of the bed. Couldn't get out of the bed for days on end. Like, I had to be carried to the bathroom. I was that sick.
Wow.
And I just remember every morning when I woke up, we talk about waking up, and I'm like, okay, here's another day. When all I could do was roll over and look at that board, when I tell you, I spent the day looking at that board
Yes.
and looking at those words: walk, run, love, peace, perfect health, just like, I envisioned, being with my kids outside of the bedroom, because that was during a time where like homework was done from the bed. We watched the movies from the bed. I mean, like,
Yeah.
life was confined to a bed,
Yeah.
literally. And I just think about the vision, right? That's part of the faith. It's just seeing yourself in your mind.
You have to. You have to. I preached a sermon once. Say it till you see it.
Mhm.
And you got to keep saying it and seeing it and saying it and seeing it and saying and seeing it. It's like I can't walk today, but I could see myself walking tomorrow.
Mhm.
And tomorrow will get here. I can see myself walking the next day
Right.
until it happens.
Right.
But I like that. Like you said, you have a vision board. My wife has a vision board,
Yeah.
but you got to be able to see it.
Yes.
You got to see it. You got to say it. You got to see it. You got every single day,
Yeah.
even in the midst of all the negativity.
Right.
Even in the midst of all, you can go to a doctor's visit and they can have all kind of news.
Yep.
But you got to walk out of there and say, you know what? I'm going to do this thing.
Yeah.
I've gone to plenty of doctor's offices, and I would say to myself, well, Lord, is it just me and you then?
Right.
And, and I would walk out of there and because I have to, get myself together first. Because
Mhm.
you start getting all that stuff.
Right.
You got to clear your mind. And then once your mind is clear, now it's time to move. Now it's time
Right.
to work.
Right.
Now it's time to work. When I have this knee surgery, I hope they're ready for me.
Yes,
I'm talking to
absolutely.
therapists because we got work. We have work to do.
Got work to do. Got work to do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's gonna
Absolutely.
hurt and all that good stuff, but you got to work.
Yes. Yes.
You. There is a part sometimes we have to play if we want to get to a certain spot.
Right.
Like you were talking about being in the bed all the time. It drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. But you gotta vision, like you said, you gotta see yourself
Mhm.
outside of that bed. Other day, um, after having one of my little negative episodes, I actually I had to apologize to my wife because she was so positive, I was so negative.
Mhm.
But after I got myself together, you remember the $6 billion man,
Mhm.
and it says we can rebuild him.
Mhm.
They are a little part of that, and it showed him running.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I'm about to be rebuilt.
Mhm.
I can do this.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not running, I'm gonna be walking though.
Yes.
You gotta be able to say that. You do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That is so true. That is
You
so
gotta
true.
do a vision board.
I think everyone should do one every year on New Year's Eve. It's a family tradition of ours. You
Okay.
know, Craig, the kids, and I, we all do vision boards, you know. And I remember the kids being like very young, especially my youngest, who is 13, going on 14. She's going to be a freshman in high school in the fall. I can't believe it.
Alrighty.
Yes, but when she was like little, it was like, do we have to? And I remember instilling in her, like right off the bat, like it's important for you to visualize what you want. What are you asking for? It's so funny. She will put a cat on her vision board every single year. Guess what?
Got a cat.
Our cat Lucy, I'll tell you, I thought my husband would never agree to a cat. He was like, to this day, he's like, I don't know what kind of prayer you were praying, because I don't know what made me agree to this cat, because we had to go to the adoption shelter. We had to go through the whole process. My husband was just standing there the whole time like, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? And the cat's going to be 3 years old in September. But we got her when she was 3 months old. Her name is Lucy. But you know what? It's funny because it's a cat. But what that taught my daughter was like, even though she wanted to give up year after year, she's like, the facts tell me, Dad said, hecky no, this ain't happening. You know, there's no way. Both parents have to agree. They said we don't have the time, da 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 da. But faith says, okay, I'm going to get this cat. And so the manifestation of that was just a really important lesson for her.
You just gave me something, actually. Oh,
Yeah.
I loved it. When you were talking about the cat and the whole manifestation of your daughter wanting this cat.
Yeah.
And how your husband
Yeah.
did not want his daughter to have any cats in the house.
Yeah.
But you know what? Your daughter's daddy loved her so much
Woo, that part.
that he gave her that cat. He gave her what she wanted. Do you see where I'm going with this,
I
right?
see where you're going.
Okay. Her daddy loved her so much, gave it to her. My wife wanted a dog. I was like, I don't want a dog. I don't want a dog. But I loved my wife so much.
Yes.
And the crazy part of it is, I love my wife so much that we got a dog that I started loving the dog.
That part. Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And so that's just how much our daddy loves us.
Yes.
Like I said, I try not to get too churchy, but it's in me. I can't help it. Because when you be talking about vision,
yes.
the Bible says that because of a lack of vision, we perish. You got to be able to see it.
Yes.
You got to be able to, even though you cannot physically touch it.
Right.
I see myself well.
Yeah.
My wife, she had a dream many years ago that she could see me walking normal. To most people, that's lunacy. But I had another friend of mine who actually, she said she had a dream. She saw me walking.
Wow.
And I don't care what the doctor says. I'm going to get back to walking. Wait until this knee surgery is over with. I'm going to walk.
That's right. That's right.
I'm going to walk regardless of all the negativity, no matter what I see.
That's right.
No matter how I feel.
That's right. I'm
going to walk.
That's right.
Yeah. I like that analogy, though, you gave about the cat. I like that.
I'm glad. Look. Oh, my goodness. We have fun, don't we?
We do. That was good stuff right there.
We have fun. But the final point that I want to make here, man, time runs by when you're having fun. I'm telling you.
It does.
Because I appreciate you sharing about your knee surgery. And one thing that inspires for me, Brother Darryl, is because you're my brother.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Seen each other in person. But
we've never met in person. This is crazy because like every time we say that, I'm like, are you sure? Because I feel like I know you more than people, or like we know each other better than people I see in real life.
Yes, ma'am. You got me to do stuff I would never be online doing this.
Yeah.
You got me to do that. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right, so this final point here, which is when as you talk about your knee surgery, that inspires me because one of the things that I want people to reflect on, and this might be our next conversation, right, is
Okay.
that faith does not mean that you don't act or that there are no works in the sense of, right, you still doing everything you need to do to take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
And
Faith without works is dead.
that's right. Faith without works is dead. And that's one piece that I really need people to capture. I remember during the pandemic, there was this faith over fear campaign. And the part that kind of worried me a bit was there's this fine line, right? Where people start going over into the other side where they're now saying, if you really have faith, then you won't act. You just sit and do nothing. That is not true.
No, it is not.
Part of having faith is listening, hearing, and acting. There are times where God will put a medical doctor in your life. I remember this. I had specialists in Seattle, Washington from Chicago, had never been to Seattle. And this is a story for another day, but I'm telling you, when I tell you it was a miracle that I was able to get, a $100,000 brain surgery covered, it was a miracle that, these specialists were even seeing me. I had a doctor who was a non-believer who was like, I've never in my life seen an insurance company overturn a denial for surgery. And they did. But there were certain things in motion that I had to act on. And I remember having people tell me, like, if you really believe, then you wouldn't be having surgery. That's backwards thinking, in my opinion.
That's foolish. I call it as foolishness.
Right.
That's foolish.
Right. So I want people to not get that mixed up. We're not talking about toxic positivity where it's like, oh, I'm supposed to sit under a tree and just sit there and be like, okay, let things happen. No.
Nope.
Neither of us did that. Right? We've been fighting. That's right.
You got to work. One of the things with me, if I sit too long, my muscles atrophy very quickly.
Yeah.
So that means you got to work. You got to move. You got to do. You got to do. But
right.
Yeah, I used to think that. I used to just sit there and wait for it. No.
Right.
If there are things that you wanted by faith, it doesn't. Just because you make effort does not mean you don't have faith.
That's right.
You want to buy a house? There are certain things you got to do to get your house.
That's right. With wisdom, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
But as I always say, and we just talked about this yesterday, I always say God is not to go fetch it, man.
Right.
That is not what he does.
Yeah.
There are some things that we have no control of.
Right.
That he will, but there are some we do. If I want to walk, then that means I have to exercise. That means I have to go to therapy. That's all that. If you sit around and just wait, you're gonna be waiting for nothing. You want to go get a job, you got to go look for a job.
Right. Exactly. Right. That's a great analogy, right? Yeah. Most of us are not sitting around waiting for money to fall. You've got to get it through some channel, right?
You do.
Exactly. You do. Even if you don't have a conventional job or you don't you have
to do something.
You got to do something, right? And so this idea, I think people are afraid to talk about faith. One of the reasons being that there are toxic messages out there that you don't have faith if you act. And so we're on the same page with it. No, that's absolutely, it's the opposite. It's because of your faith. That doctor that you feel it in your spirit that you need to go see that particular doctor, there's a reason for that. Even the work that I do as a psychologist, doing therapy, I feel like it's God ordained, it's God driven. This is my purpose in life. But yet there are some people out there who are like, oh, if you go to therapy, then you don't believe in God. No,
and the person I was talking to, the therapist, we were talking, and I was going to teach her. Actually, I didn't text her yet. I was going to ask how much I owe her because I started talking.
Yeah,
I just thought how I feel about stuff. But again, I think certain people they get to the point where they because things don't work out well for them,
Mm-hmm.
they don't deal with the disappointment of that well.
Yeah.
And so because they don't deal with the disappointment of that well, they give up.
Mm-hmm.
Disappointment does not mean you quit.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
You got to be determined.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You got to be determined.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
Pastor would call it, you got to have a relentless faith.
That's right. That's right.
What used to make me discouraged, I love when people tell me I can't do something.
Yep.
That's just fuel for the fire. That's all that does.
Yep.
I'm gonna show you I can.
I know you are. I know you are.
I try not to be your because again, depending on what your illness is, again, I think I talked about it before. I did talk about it before. They put you in a box.
Yep.
And then they give you all of these low expectations based on what the label of that box is.
That's right.
I like as I said, I like to color outside the lines.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't be what everybody wants me, what again those expectations are.
Yeah.
I like to reach outside of the box.
That's right. That's right. You can't be limited by that box.
No, I don't care what label they put on here. I don't care.
That's right.
I don't
That's
care.
right.
So
That's right. So yeah, I guess the bottom line is we're saying like, yeah, step out on faith and never give up. Never give up.
nope.
Never give up. People say to me all the time, there was no other option. And I will say to them, you better tell yourself that there was always an option. You just chose the one.
Yes.
That was the right.
There are always options. There's
always options, right? Because an option is giving up. We know that. But we're asking you to never give up.
A door that closed one door, another one will open.
That's right.
And you got to wait and wait patiently.
That's right.
That door opens up.
That's right. Yes, and this is coming from two people who shouldn't even be sitting here.
Sure shouldn't.
And we are to tell you this message. So thank you for joining us. The next time we have a conversation, you will have gone through recovery from the knee surgery, and that's going to turn out great. And we just see all good things. And then we're going to be back. And I would love for our viewers to come back, bring some people along when we announce it, share this video because it's going to be on YouTube. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with somebody who needs some encouragement.
Yeah.
Okay. Together we are epic. We're epic together.
For those who are just stuck in a place,
yes.
Step out.
Yep.
Even though you can't see it, just step out there.
Yep. Yep. That's right. That's right. Okay. Well, it's always so good having these conversations.
Yes, it is.
With Darryl. I love it. And we will be back. It's been too long. We gonna
Yes, it has.
On a regular basis. On a regular basis. How does that sound?
Yes, ma'am. I'll tell you, we gotta get together and write.
We also have a book project. We definitely do. That's been put on hold, but we gonna get to that.
I believe
definitely gonna get to that. Yes.
I can't see it, but I believe it though.
I believe it, right? We just see that first step.
I gotta see it because I've been talking about this for too long. Wait for it. I can't see it, but I believe it's coming. I just believe I do.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And together we're epic. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.